So this is our final race, but I have a quick announcement. Could the team manager for the entrant 402 DD2, that is Peter Bezel, so could the team manager from driver number 402 make your way to the stewards immediately, please? 402, team manager to the stewards immediately, please. Thank you. So with that being said, let's go through the grid for this final race of qualifying day here in Kristianstad in southern Sweden. Ville Villelainen will line up on pole position this time. Alongside will be Sivert Moiland from Norwegian. Ricardo Alberti, who took a win in the second heat earlier on. Could he do the double? Zander Schiblak also has also had his fair share of wins throughout the season, but also let's see if he can do one this afternoon. Peter Bezel and also Andreas Fors rounds out the top three rows with David Remy and Nico Jorg, completing the top four rows with Roberto Pajewski, who starts from pole position in DD2 Masters, as Slavomir Maransky already took part in heat number 2 a little bit earlier on. He starts from 9th, and alongside him will be Nies Racing's very own German driver in the form of Oliver Breitenbach, as the 555 of Christoph Adams gets pinged for a low battery on his transponder. Madeline Radny and Mingus Falk round out the top 6 rows. Then it's Christoph Adams, Matthias Dahl, Florian Breitenbach is also in this one. Jan Schwitter and Michael Becker round out the 17 strong that will go into battle. 10 minutes plus an additional lap before we elongate things tomorrow for the finals. So Villelainen, Moiland, Alberti, Schiblak, Bezel, Fors, Remy, Jorg, Pajewski and Oliver Breitenbach. That is your top 10. They come into the penultimate couple of corners before we go into the final turn here at Kristianstad. Time now 17:17 local time. This concludes what's been a great day of action for the halfway point of the season for the Rotax Max Euro Trophy in 2019. Good control of the pace from both Villelainen and Moiland to get them all into formation, with Michael Becker at the tail end, Charlie of the field. It's time to go racing one last time here on Saturday, here in Sweden. The Rotax engines roar into life one final time on Saturday afternoon, and we go racing. And straight away, Villelainen gets the whole shot. Moiland in second position as the scraps are being fought over way down at the back up part of the field. It looks like Michael Becker has maybe even made up 4 positions already, which he has. That's great work from the German. Started in 17th position, as there's a bit of fisticuffs involving Jan Schwitter for the penultimate place on the grid, place in the running orders, and he is still in 16th and penultimate position at the moment. But meanwhile, at the front of the field, looks like there is a Bezel looking very, very menacing indeed, and it is Petter. Right on the back bumper of Riccardo Alberti from Italy, and Bezel sends it up the inside of the Italian on the final corner. Nice work, but then Alberti is trying to out-drag him. Oh, that was very, very naughty indeed from Petter Bezel. I think the stewards might have a look at that one. I'm not going to call it, but he was trying to close off the door. He did have right of way, but Alberti, I think, was sort of thinking maybe that's not going to be in his favour. It might be in mine, as someone is dropping rapidly down the order out towards the bottom part of the top 15. There's more argy-bargy, and it looks like Madeline Radny's in the wars with the 424 of Andreas Fors, who managed to get into the top 6 earlier on. So Madeline trying to get some more points towards her tally to qualify as high up the field as possible. So at the moment, Ville Villelainen continues to lead. Petter Bezel now takes second. Ricardo Alberti third. David Remy, in the meantime, has got past BNL's very own Zander Schiblak. So Schiblak is now down in 6th position. Oh, I didn't expect that one, because Sivert Moiland, who started on the front row, has gone with the Swede past the Belgian. Meanwhile, Roberto Pajewski started in 9th position. He is now in the top 8. He's now 7th. Just ahead of Sweden's very own Madeline Radny. Andreas Fors, also from Sweden, running in 9th with Christoph Adams, completing the top 10, as Fors forces it past that overtake in terms of Madeline Radny, but Radny trying to go quickly back on the offensive through the following corner. She can't make the move stick. There's still plenty of time as Fors takes a wider line into the corner to nail the apex, but Madeline Radny definitely trying to keep herself straight and narrow in terms of racing line and apex application. She takes a tighter line in because right on the back bumper is a man that's going to go, well, actually tried to go outside, up the inside. This is not helping Christoph Adams nor Madeleine Radny. And right behind is Florian Breitenbach as Adams swoops up the inside of Radny, who nearly gets compromised by Breitenbach. Well, Florian's leading Oliver at the minute, so the two Breitenbachs. Oliver's sent it up the inside of Florian there. What a great move. A great battling between the two brothers. I'm sure that they're all smiles and giggles, but when the red mist comes down, it doesn't matter whether they're related by blood or friendship. It is all-out war here in racing. That was a great move there by Oliver Breitenbach on Florian to take that position. And just up ahead of Christoph Adams is, Roberto Pajewski's just been passed by Andreas Fors, who's just up into 7th position there on the 424. But the lead is still in the hands, for the moment thereof, of Ville Villelainen. Peter Bezel is closing down on the Finn. Didn't take too much out. There was about 5/100ths of a second between first and second in terms of comparative when it comes to lap time. Riccardo Alberti now feeling the heat, the pressure, and the sheer determination of David Remy from Dan Holland Racing. The Swede tries to go up the inside, but he's also being compromised because he's got to think about whether he attacks or defends, because he's got Zander Schiblak. The pair are trying to go past Alberti right now. Remy makes it through. Schiblak does not. And whilst they're battling, Stuart Moyland will close up. He's closing on the back bumper of the Bouvin Power driver in the 422. So we've got just over 5 minutes and 40 seconds plus an additional lap remaining in this last race of the qualification day here at Kristianstad Karting Club. Ville Villelainen continues to lead. Peter Bezel in second. And it's no longer Riccardo Alberti in third, because David Remy has got the job done before they've even got into turn 1. Zander Schiblak now trying to hustle through turn 3, makes the move stick. Is Moylan going through? That has happened. Alberti now down into 6th position. So the Italian was very strong in his second heat. His first heat, now he's on the back foot in this one. As Moylan goes ultra defensive on the Italian through into the halfway part of the circuit here at Kristianstad. But the gap has been dropping ever so incrementally between the two leaders as Finland's Ville Villelainen continues to lead. Peter Bezel took nearly a 10th out of him last time around. Will actually make that 70-odd hundredths. David Remy now in third and now has a little bit of a chance here. He's got 4 minutes and 40 plus an additional lap to close up to the two in front, as again the gap has dropped slightly between first and second to just over 0.3. There's been more changes, so Alberti is in 6th position. Christoph Adams has got past Roberto Pajewski for the lead in DD2 Masters. So obviously we've got 3 of them. Michael Becker languishing unfortunately at the tail end, Charlie, of the field. He made 4 positions on the first 3 or 4 corners. But the German now might have had a contretemps that he didn't really want, and now he's down at the back part of the field. A lot of action going on behind Messrs Adams and Pajewski. And in that mix is Madeleine Radny, who's just been passed by Oliver Breitenbach. Florian's right on her back bumper. And then right behind them is Mathias Dahl from Denmark. So it is all kicking off in the lower part of there. And with that is also Nico Jörg. So Nico also not having a great day here. He had a better time in Adria, but then it didn't really go his way. Excuse me. So we have 3.5 minutes plus an additional lap, so about 4 minutes and a quarter still to go in this race. Ville Villelainen still holding on to that lead. Peter Bezel has not really made that significant an inroad on the flying fin on the 416 at the moment to try and get that lead, whereas Zander Schiblak is now back ahead of David Remy. A nice move up the inside that has been Andreas Fors up the inside of Riccardo Alberti, again for position. So the Italian drops down to 7th position. Behind him will be, well, a little bit further back is the pair of Christoph Adams and Sweden's very own Madeleine Radny in the 468. So she's still running in the top 10. Excuse me. But the leaders have got a clear gap. The gap between Peter Bezel and Zander Schiblak last time around was just over 1.36 seconds. And the fastest lap of this race, I'm definitely looking forward to how he fires back a salvo in some respects. He's only got 2.5 or so minutes plus an additional lap to do it. Zandar Shriblak just set the fastest lap of this race and probably of the day in DD2s, 52.703. So Shriblak now has a target on the back of the race overalls of the driver in front, and that is the Czech Republic's very own Petr Bezel, who is, well, he's really on it right now. He is hustling that 402. He sends it up the inside of Villalainen on the final corner, and the Finn has to try and go back, but no, he's not going side by side. Oh, you are crazy, Villalainen. Well, that could have been very much in the that could have been a Kimi Räikkönen move right there, but I'll say it's a Villalainen opportunity. He could have gone round the outside of the leader. He still has time to get past Petr Bezel, who's stolen the lead with around about 1 minute and 45 to go. And good defending from Bezel, but Villalainen run on the back bumper for the Czech driver, trying to take the wider line, carry the momentum through the couple of corners, the S-bend, heading towards the second from penultimate corner here. And Villalainen is now going to fire back at Petr Bezel on this tour, but they've got to watch out. Shriblak has been closing, and closing quite considerably right now. That gap's got to be at least probably 0.6 between second and third. It's 0.59. Villalainen was just over 2 tenths slower. Another 52.7. That's 52.765 for Zandar Shriblak. So in 3 successive laps, Zandar Shriblak is showing fast pace and also consistency. A 52.7 lap for the last 3. Could it be another one? 4 in a row for the Belgian, as Villalainen is still hungry for that win. He had a disaster in the qualifying stages in Adria. He is trying to fire back at one of the 2 brothers that are leading the standings coming into this round. So Villalainen really trying to do his best, but Shriblak, I think, is going to factor in. We've got 20 on the clock to go, plus an additional lap. You want a grandstand finish to close out qualifying day? Here we go, DD2. So we've got Petr Bezel, Villalainen, and Zandar Shriblak, by my reckoning, as the time will expire right about now. That's it, time's up. Villalainen coming under pressure from Shriblak. Shriblak really trying to close up on the braking, and he does so really well behind the 416. No positional changes, but it's going to happen at the front of the field. I can sense it. I can feel that there is going to be a dramatic finish to this race. But Petr Bezel still holding on, as is Villalainen. Zandar Shriblak really hustling the 422, the Buvin power chassis. And he's just really trying to do his best to get past Villalainen, because the minute he does that, he can go off to Petr Bezel. But the thing is, this is now the final lap of this race, as Petr Bezel will cross the start-finish line now. There we go. One lot more lap to close out the action. A 52.7, but whoa, a 52.636 from Zandar Shriblak. He is really trying to go for it now. He can't go up the inside of Villalainen into turn 3. Can he make the run coming out of turn 4? Not quite yet. Over the hump they go. Villalainen's going to go ultra defensive right about now. He wants to hang on to that second position, but he's got Shriblak trying to go up the inside, and the Belgian takes it. Villalainen absolutely hung out to dry there by the Belgian, and here comes David Remy. Could Villalainen drop from the lead of this race down to 4th at the flag? We're literally seconds away from finding out. It could be a drag race for 2nd, 3rd and 4th very shortly. Shriblak carries a bit more momentum through the penultimate corner, but the checkered flag is going to be prepared. The final checkered flag will be taken by the Czech Republic's Petr Bezel. Zandar Shriblak takes 2nd ahead of Villalainen. Close but no cigar for David Remy, who takes 4th place there, ahead of Sivert Moiland, who started on the front row alongside Villalainen. And also we have another DD2 Masters winner, and it's 2 out of 3. It's 2 for 2 in a row for Christoph Adams in the treble 5 on the Sodi Kart chassis. He finishes in 8th position. But what a drive from Petr Bezel, just forced the issue on Villalainen to take the win by 1.117 seconds from Zandar Shriblak. Villalainen just literally a 10th and a half behind in 3rd. David Remy almost got to 3rd position, but it was 72 hundredths at the flag. Sivert Moiland rounds out the top 5 ahead of Andreas Voss, Riccardo Alberti. What a damaging race for the Italian. was in second, but then ended up being pounced on hand over fist and ended up 7th. Christoph Adams wins DD2 Masters this time around in 8th ahead of Madeline Radny. Oliver Breitenbach completes the top 10. Matthias Dahl, Florian Breitenbach complete the top 12. Roberto Pajewski, he's got some work to do tomorrow as the Austrian in the 566. He was 13th in that race and second to Christoph Adams. Yeah, Mingus Falk from Denmark, Jan Schwitter from Switzerland, Nico Jorg from Austria, and Michael Becker round out the 17 strong with every single driver finishing the race. That concludes the action.